Well, it livened up at least to a degree.
It did a little bit, but going into the tournament, France were a lot of people's favourites. They've not shown anywhere near the form I thought they would. Even in the second half, when they get the goal, they make the changes, they bring some fresh legs on. I'm thinking, here we go, this could be 3 or 4. But it just didn't happen for them in front of goal. And you've got to give, I think, great credit to Poland for the way they stuck together. They've got nothing to play for. And
except for pride,
I thought they did really, really well in that second half, Poland.
They certainly do.
There was an imbalance in the team with France. We talked about England many times, and with Barcola playing on the left and Mbappe going to that side, I just think there'd be a better team with Thuram up front or Giroud up front as well, who they can play off, because all the combinations in this France team, all they're doing is looking for Mbappe, and he's playing at his own pace, of course, because he's such a talented player. But the teams and the competition, they're just not there.
Yeah, they're not quite on it at the moment, but we've seen this French team, you know, they obviously know how to go deep into tournaments, Frank.
Well, they've done it so regularly. It's hard to rule them in or out off the back of that, because they're definitely a squad of one of the most talented squads, one of the most athletic squads, physicality, all over the pitch. But it does feel like there's something that's not quite there at the minute. But, as you say, when they get to the big stuff, I think the big players...
I think one thing you would say about France, though, at least they play in the opposition half.
Yes.
You know, they stay really high. They know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's not coming off.
OK, well, let's look at the, both penalties, obviously, if they go. And we'll start with the French one. This was a clear-cut decision, there's no doubt about this. Awful challenge from Kiwior, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a terrible challenge. Yeah, he gets it all wrong. He just lunges in there. On Dembele, he's got no chance of winning the ball and takes him out. Easy decision, clear penalty.
I've been in that position many times before. We just misjudge it, mistime the tackle. You think it's there, and it's this man who steps up. Kylian Mbappe, first Euro goal
ever. First one.
Very cool. You don't expect him to miss there, and that will help his confidence, because I think he himself probably will have some thinking time about what his role is in this team in a minute.
I'm glad he took the mask off, because I didn't know it was.
No, that's a good photo opportunity.
Now, the penalty at the other end was obviously a bit more contentious. What do we think, gents?
I mean,
there's a touch.
I think it is a penalty. I think Upamecano is very clumsy on Sebastian there. You just see off this angle here, there, he just catches the back of the foot. You can see it clearly there. He doesn't win the ball. So I actually think that is the correct decision, penalty.
I agree. I think as well, from a defender, if you're trying to have a nibble in the box, when he's he's got his foot in between that and the ball, I think it's just sloppy defending, and I think it's a penalty too.
I don't like this though, and you guys are better placed to talk about maybe. But all this stopping. The keeper doesn't know when to go. He's sort of waiting, anticipating, and by the time he takes the penalty, he's off his line.
Well, it makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper to keep still, doesn't it? When he does this kind of, when's he going to hit it?
But I'm not a fan of that run-up, but hey, I mean, you could see straight away Lewandowski, when he hit the first one, he was saying straight away that he was off his line, and he gets the chance to put the second one in. He's not going to make the same mistake again.
Now, we think that was a penalty. We decided that. But I can imagine every Scottish person watching that game will be going, hang on a minute. If you're giving that for just a little flick, how on earth are you not giving this against Armstrong?
Well, I totally agree. I mean, neither referee on the pitch has given the decision. The one in the game today has been sent to the VAR because he thinks he's made a clear and obvious error.
But you can
I mean, if that isn't...
I mean, that is as clear and obvious as you get, as far as I'm concerned. So you can understand why the Scots have got a gripe about that.
And I'm sure they will, and they're right, in my opinion.
I don't like this sort of clear and obvious thing, though, or what we talk about. It's rather a penalty or it's a not. That is a clear penalty, and it should have been given.
Well, was this one a penalty on Mbappe in the final seconds that would have probably taken, if Mbappe had scored it, gone into the... We don't think so. We don't think so, do we?
No, I don't think it was a penalty at all, no. He tries to pull out the defender. He actually stops himself. There you go. I know he just turns himself to try and stop himself.
Yeah, you see it best on this angle, don't you? He pulls away. That's definitely not a penalty. Correct decision by the referee.
Yeah. Deschamps disagrees with you.
That's desperation, wanting the result.
Mbappe overall, I mean, it's a strange kind of role he's playing. It's different to what we've seen a lot of times for France, where he comes off the left and he goes at people. This one, he was kind of playing up front, but a little bit more towards the left. What did you make of it, Frank?
Well, it's hard to be too critical of this player. He could be the best player in the world, and especially on his day, he is, because of his raw talents and attributes and things like this that he can do. He can make something out of any moment in the game. So,
I mean, he was still good. I mean, he still did some great things.
Yeah, he did some great things, and you do it as I think Micah just said there. We're actually they end up having an over-reliance, and even though they have a lot of talent in their team, you're kind of waiting for him to get the ball and he drifts around. I think I'm sitting there talking with Alan. Then we're talking about with a striker or a goal-getter's mentality. There are too many times when he's not in the area that the ball might drop at to get goals. Now, his numbers are still huge in his career. He's still ridiculous, but I would be a bit frustrated with him and go, OK, I understand that you roam, but when you sense danger, when you sense build-up, you've got to be getting yourself in and around for those little tap-ins and things like that. But it's a special player.
Can I just ask you, as a manager, please, Frank, so you've got a player who's got that special talent, and we know what he can do off the left, we can know what he can do running in behind, even got a bang in the nose in the game, but how difficult is it to set up a team when you've got such a special player and have to adapt to just that player because he's so good?
Well, I think because he's so good, I relate it to playing with Eden Hazard. I missed his best years at Chelsea, but Chelsea found a way to work around him and let Eden cheat a little bit without the ball and let him be slightly lazy because of what his input was in a similar way to that. So I think when the player is that special, I think you have to find a way. So, but there is a balance to that. I think you work around it. You have to get a balance to the team. Like we were talking about, when he comes out, we must make sure we have people arriving in the box. But the basics, like I said, about him getting there for the tap-ins, I think he's still a young enough player. You should still be able to affect him enough to say, you're amazing, find your areas, we'll let you float around a bit, but you've got to get in that goal scoring area.
I think the slight issue is maybe not him. I mean, we know how brilliant he is, but it's the balance that they're trying to get in and around him, in terms of they tried to play Barcola there today on the left-hand side and Dembele on the right. They then bring Giroud on, and then they bring Griezmann on. It's not working at this moment in time.
I've got a feeling they'll end up with Giroud again. He's reliable. They know what he does. He knows how to play in the middle. He allows Mbappe to play on the left. But we'll see. But you mentioned Dembele as well on the right, who's a player that's got so much ability, but he can be a little bit exasperating at times.
It's just I think at times, isn't it? It's his final, the end product. Not whether it's that finishing, or whether it's in a crossing position when he's in a really good position. He's got to actually pick someone out. 1v1, obviously, he's incredibly tricky, and he can do that, can sort of suck you in and think you've got him and he's away from you. But ability-wise, he's unbelievable. But this, I think, that you just the slight question mark is the finishing and that final pass into the box to someone else.
I think any player that can dribble at his speed with both feet, without having close control with both feet, which means they can go either way on you, is a special talent. But I do fear he's not a seriously young player anymore. When players, year after year, we watch him in the Champions League this year, do not deliver at that end of the pitch, and you see the technique of that cross there at the end, and not the lack of understanding of what area he's got to hit. Will that come into his game? And you're not sure, then he becomes inconsistent.
I think we can fill in a few more blanks for you at home. It's quite interesting ones as well.